It's been revealed this week that David Hogg, now he's the Democrat National Committee vice chair, well, his position in the party may be over in the next month due to, quote, fairness and gender diversity rules. So what a great message that they're trying to sell to Americans, that they're the normal party, that they're getting rid of white guys in their own party because they don't tick the right boxes. How is that going to go well with the American people?
Yeah, I thought this was funny, especially in light of Tim Walz's comments this past week saying that he was selected as the vice presidential candidate precisely to win over male voters. And yet now his party is saying, our vice chair is too white, so we kind of don't want him. So that's one thing. The other part I find really funny is this is the party that has shouted about democracy for 2 years. And when democracy happens, right, when people make a vote and they make a selection of a candidate, if the Democratic leadership doesn't like what democracy led to, they can just throw it away, right? It doesn't actually matter. So it really undermines all of their talking points of the past 4 years.
Indeed. And, speaking of democracy and freedom and liberty, huge revelations from Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who's been digging through the papers at State Department, and it turns out that the Biden administration was keeping files on United States citizens, monitoring their social media profiles, and attempting to identify, quote-unquote, purveyors of disinformation, which, of course, means mean stuff that they didn't like. Brianna, we're really starting to see just how bad things got during that administration when they were even doing things like forcibly censoring the Hunter Biden laptop story.
Yeah, what we've experienced here in America for the past 4 years has been nothing short of dystopian. And what a lot of people don't seem to understand, or they don't want to acknowledge because the Supreme Court made a bad decision, is that the Biden administration was working with big tech companies to censor and silence so-called mis and disinformation, which is true information that is politically inconvenient. And that is perhaps the second biggest scandal behind Biden's cognitive decline of the century for this country. And we have turned a blind eye because Biden and the Democrats say, well, we're doing it to protect the American people from the scary mis and disinformation. And the welfare of the people is always the alibi of a tyrant. That is a paraphrase from Albert Camus. And I think the Biden administration and Democrats have operated under that kind of ideology for so long that people are saying, well, if they were censoring Americans because they said something scary or dangerous, that's okay. So I'm happy that the Trump administration is kind of bringing this to light. And I hope we get more information about just exactly what was going on for 4 years, especially if Kamala Harris decides to run. We need to make sure that that is attached to her record, just as any other issue she failed on is.